Yeah, what's good, y'all? It's your man, Wolf of Wine. Welcome to a very special episode of Wine and Hip Hop. Today, we are on location in Champaign because for the longest time, when you think wine and hip hop, you think champagne and hip hop. So today, I'm at Piper Heidsieck to link up with my dog, Emilien Boutillat, winemaker here at Piper Heidsieck, to talk about what it is and why it's so important. Holla. Emilien, man, thank you so much for having me here. I am extremely excited about this. I've always called you the Jermaine Dupri of winemaking, so I'm interested to see how it's all done, man. But I know that the blend is incredibly important to champagne. I would love for you to just take me through and let me see how the wizard works.
But you are here for that, so we're gonna to travel into Champagne this afternoon in the vineyards, and right now we are going to travel inside that world, my world, the winery of Piper Heidsieck, where you will be able to taste the different wines, because as you say, blends are key in Champagne, and we have the opportunity to play with different grapes, different vintages to create the different Champagne we produce. So we are going to do that.
Interestingly enough, the blend lies at the foundation of both arts. And just like DJ Kool Herc seamlessly blended those disco records to create hip hop, classic grape varieties that thrive in the region of Champagne come together to define the region and beverage that we know today as Champagne.
In Champagne, we have three main varietals. There are varietals that you probably know, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Each of them are like 1/3 of the vineyard. And the last one you probably know a bit less because it's mainly in Champagne that you will find it. It's Meunier. So that are the three main varietals, and we are going to test the three wines from each varietal from 2022.
Going into my visit, I knew the main varietals in Champagne. However, I never thought about what each one contributed to the overall experience.
So Chardonnay, in Champagne, we like to say that Chardonnay will bring the freshness, the minerality, the citrus aromas. So Pinot Noir will bring more the power, the structure, the body, almost the backbone of a blend. So
it's gonna push it forward.
Yes,
yeah.
So that's why it's important. So on the nose, you have more like plume, a touch of smokiness, of toastiness. Meunier, funny story, Meunier is kind of a descendant, a child of Pinot Noir. It got a mutation on the grapes and it becomes a Meunier. Meunier in Champagne will bring the gourmandise, we say in French, so the fruitiness, the generosity. On the nose, it's really that basket of fruit.
Having listened to Emilien break down the varietals, I realized the comparisons was simple. Chardonnay was the melody, setting the tone for the freshness and acidity. Pinot Noir was the bass and the drums because it provided the structure. And Meunier was the vocals.
What we do in Champagne is that we blend grapes, just like we have seen, but we blend the last harvest with reserve wines. And that's kind of the key, because I can choose and adapt the selection of reserve wine according to the main harvest. So each year I will look in my winery.
Go through the record crates.
Yes. And sometimes I need to go back songs, you know, to find the perfect connection between the main harvest, the last one, and what I need in the reserve wines.
Sidebar, Champagne producers collect different varietals for different vintages for years. They don't know when they might need it, but they got it in the stash for when the time comes. This entire facility is just one big record crate. Champagne is generally non-vintage, but often winemakers taste through the years because that's where the hits live, and save wine that has characteristics that they think they'll need down the line.
So a vintage wine, vintage champagne, is made only from the grapes harvested in that vintage. For example, afterwards we will test the 2014 vintage, which means that 100% of the grapes inside the bottle are from 2014 vintage. But in most of the champagne, in Cuvée Brut, in Rosé for example, we blend grapes, but we also blend vintages. So in non-vintage champagne, you have one, the biggest proportion is coming from one vintage. For Piper, it's something like 70%, it's coming from the same vintage, and then you have 30% of reserve wines, which means that I blend and balance the main harvest with older wines that I keep in tank in stainless steel tank, just like we have behind us.
Some songs remind you of a time and some songs ultimately live forever. Neither is better than the other, it's just what you in the mood for at the time. It's like sometimes it's appropriate to play Tone Loc, Funky Cole Medina, but when you know you need a classic, you go with P. Diddy's All About the Benjamins. How did it get sparkling? Come on, even the wine got that bling. What is any hip-hop artist without the bling? One of the reasons champagne is so hip-hop because it always brings that bling. What is champagne without the bubbles? What is an artist without the shines?
So take me through that process of going from those 3 glasses to this one.
So what happened is that we made the blends. We decide the blend together. Then we put the blend into the bottle. But before to close the bottle, we add a little bit of sugar and yeast. We close the bottle, not with the cork you all know, but with a cap, a crown cap. So the yeast will eat the sugar, just like during the first fermentation, and turn it into alcohol. We will just have 1 more degree of alcohol, but gas. And because the bottle is closed, the gas cannot go away. So the gas is trapped in the bottle, and that's kind of the burst of the bubble, the prise de bouche, we say in French. That's key, because that's where a wine, a still wine from Champagne, will become a champagne, really, a sparkling wine from Champagne. But then what is also important is the time of aging. On lees, the dead yeast will remain inside the bottle and will keep the bottle like that for many, many months. In that case, for the first one, Cuvée Brut is 3 years. We let it rest with the lees because it will get aromas and also fine-tune the creaminess of the bubbles that you will feel in your glass. So that aging post-fermentation is key. So what we do is that we do the riddling, so turning basically the bottle slowly but surely to put all the yeast in the neck of the bottle. And then we have the last step of the process, which is called disgorgement. We remove the cap. Because of the pressure, the yeast go away. So we have a clear, bright wine, and we just fill the bottle because we lost some volume. So we fill it with a liquor that will fill the bottle and adjust the level of sugar. Final cork, ready to be shipped to Brooklyn, to anywhere, and then ready to be popped with some friends.
Most champagne is white, even though 2 of the key grapes in the blend are actually black. Honestly, it's kind of like Eminem. When those tracks first dropped, nobody expected a white dude to rap with that level of skill.
Now we have regular blue. Why is this one white and why is this rosé? Like how does that actually happen? Because I know that in the maceration process, you're able to clear the color of the skin from other wines. So tell me about how this process happens.
So there is 2 ways of making rosé in Champagne. You can do it by maceration, which is called like rosé de saignée. So you harvest the black fruit, in that case like Pinot Noir and Meunier. You let it soak in the press. So you will have contact between the skins and the juice. So the juice will get pink, then you press. You have a pink juice that you can turn into rosé. Or the other option is to blend. As we said before, we make white wine out of Pinot Noir. We make white wine out of Meunier. So you can have the white part of the blend and the red part of the blend. And that's what we do here. So we have dedicated vineyard in order to make red wine, but very delicate, fruit-forward red wine with no tannins, very fresh. And then we blend that red wine of Pinot Noir with some white Pinot Noir, some white Meunier, and some white Chardonnay to end up with that perfect color, perfect balance.
Yo, this I gotta say, I'm extremely blown away. I am much more better informed on champagne than I've ever been in my life. So thank you. But like, I'd love to dial this back and go a little further and see like where it comes from. Are we able to check out the vineyards or anything?
Of course. I mean, we spoke about winemaking, and that's key. Blendings are key in Champagne, but I mean, there is no good champagne, there is no good wine without good grapes. So everything starts in the vineyard. So now it's time for you to go in the mud. Your foot's in the mud.